Welcome everybody to Pieces Pat Paints. That's our live show. I'm Pat. I paint various and sundry miniatures here in the middle of nowhere, America. Honestly, I really am about as in the middle of nowhere as you could possibly get in the States. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I guess I could be in Kansas. Not that there's anything wrong with Kansas. Hello, anybody who follows us from Kansas. I've been to Kansas lots of times. It's a nice place. People there are pretty all right people. It's hyper religious, but that's all right. It helps when you're out in the middle of nothing. Kansas and Nebraska, and Oklahoma, it's really flat out here. Texas is kind of that way, but like Texas at least has, I don't know, like there's a really neat canyon system in Texas, and like Oklahoma's got some mountains and stuff in it, but like Kansas is, and it's lots of plains, lots of prairie. Same thing in Nebraska, lots of prairie. I've never been to the Dakotas, so I don't know. But anyway, that's a long, weird tangent about nothing for no reason. But that's what the internet's about, right? Or at least these kind of things on the internet. We're working on a Minotaur, so let's get ourselves set up here. Boom. Yeah. Good looking guy. We're slowly getting there. We need to add in our washes. I think it's ready to do that, which is good. And then we'll come back and finish up some of the other stuff. I do need to. I did not throw that away. I got my phone repaired, which is awesome. My repair kit did show up yesterday, as I anticipated that it would. For those of you who are desperately worried about it for whatever reason, I know that's no one. No one is worried about that, except for maybe my family. No. A few other people might maybe. Who knows? Anyway. Just make sure. Make sure you don't break him. Make sure you've got all the stuff you want painted done before you do this next part. This next part gets a little crazy. I gotta remove this damn board. Break anything. Go over there. Almost got this thing figured out to where I can do this without it being a big deal. I really do think though, I'll try to do it without this, but I really think it does go better when the light is behind it. Yeah, I think the focus is better. Although man, that light is like right in my way. That's not bad. You know, I can see all my poor airbrush. I got one nozzle to kind of like work for a little while. And then the split finally got so bad that it gave way. For those of you who don't know much about airbrushes, it can be a pain in the ass. Anyway, this little nozzle here, these nozzles, you can break these things so easy. So be super careful with your needles and how deep you push things in and they do it. They give out over time, so you'll have to replace them and But I'm getting better at airbrushing, which is fun. Eventually, we might be able to. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it on the channel. We'll do a little airbrushing. I have to paint a landscape, and you have no clue what I'm going to do. What kind of landscape? Is it like a landscape in a particular place, or ooh, don't do that, Pat. You know, there's a broadness there that yeah. It really, because that really does depend. There's a lot there depending on what you're trying to do. It depends a lot on how you do landscapes. Landscaping is painting and pastels is what I prefer to do. Nobody really likes that stuff anymore. At least not like they used to. So like I don't, I don't sell a lot of it. Although I guess we could do those too. Yeah, no restriction. Foreground, background. So like on canvas, or like, are we talking like a freehand on a miniature, or? And I'm not surprised that you're going with chaos related, honestly, Fat Man Kitchen. You definitely seem to. Chaos seems to be your brand. That's totally all right, man. Everybody's got to have a tribe. I'm just a good old school project. Okay, so like a canvas. Man, so Nurgle would be probably the easiest to do as like a landscape, because you can do Nurgle or corn, because you could do like the Skull Throne as a landscape. Like the Skull Throne is the mountain of skulls, and that's the background, or, that's like the middle ground and all that stuff. Yeah, that might be cool. A warrior in front of a brass citadel. That might be fun. And you could do that in like yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah. Because like with chaos, the fun thing about like chaos and doing something like that is the colors. You can just have a lot more strange colors and stuff like that. But I love doing landscapes. Pastels is my preferred thing. I love oil pastels and soft pastels. I have since I was young. I was like, before I started miniature painting, my art training was all in original stuff. I even have my Bobby Rosh right over here. Oh, it's got a little schmitzies on it. It's alright. These are all little Bob Ross paintings, and then old Bob Ross right here. Oh, he's dead. I gotta get him so we can talk again. But yeah, no, I grew up with Bob Ross and stuff like that, so I love old landscapes and stuff like that. It's the way I like to do things if I can, for my own personal stuff. If I'm gonna make a picture for somebody and give it to them, it's probably gonna be a landscape. Although I used to do a little bit more fantastical kind of landscaping and stuff like that, adding like gods and eyes to the skies and that sort of stuff. I don't do that quite as much now. Now it's more of trying to make things more realistic. I actually did one not too long ago. It was from the Carnival in Venice. One of the participants in a bunch of the, what's those boats called? Gondolas. Gondola boats. I probably should have gone to like art school, but I ended up in culinary school. I love cooking. I've always enjoyed being in the kitchen. I still do. I still love cooking, even though I can't really do it as much anymore. I gotta be careful about being in the kitchen too much. I'll get overwhelmed. Can I keep the spots I put on there? We can always come back and fix them. But it's good to kind of leave the idea of where you wanted to put that stuff. Definitely needs a little bit more oomph on that. Yeah, we're not getting paid. So corn it is, not getting paid. So right. Yeah, there's a big difference in what I'm willing to do for free and what I'm willing to do for pay, and how much I'm willing to do for how much you're willing to pay. And it gets very complicated. So you gotta be careful about like under and overselling yourself. It's a hard art is a hard business, man. It's so much more subjective than a lot of other things, you know. And honestly, being a chef, there was a lot of art in that too, and the business in that, the way the business flows, works a lot the same, and that there's a lot of subjectivity to it. You know, people's opinion of what's good and bad is really wrapped up in their own personal stuff. So you kind of have to, you know, people might be like, "Oh, that was terrible," and you're like, "Yeah, was it really?" Like out here in, so we had an Italian restaurant out here, and I made real Alfredo sauce, like the old school Alfredo sauce, the way you're supposed to make it with, you know, the cream and the parma, yada yada. They didn't really like it, so I added a type of cream cheese from a Switzerland style cream cheese called Nufetchel. So I added that to Alfredo sauce, and all of a sudden everybody loved it. They all went nuts over it. Like, oh my god, it's so good. And it drove us up a wall. It was like, oh my god, y'all don't want real Italian. You don't want real Italian. You want what you want it to be. You want it to be this super cheesy, almost like Parmesan flavored macaroni and cheese sauce. Which is fine, but then they would sit there and talk about how authentic it was. And you're like, oh my god. So it just goes to show you, people's opinions of what is good and what is actually, you know, what the rest of humanity might think is good, don't always match up. You know, like, had we been in a different part of the world selling that same for original version Alfredo sauce, it would have gone like gangbusters. But because of where we were, you have to adjust it to what the customers like so that they'll purchase the products. Not to be lecturing anybody, just kind of a general discussion. I think a lot of people probably understand that, but anybody who doesn't, that's a good lesson for you. Art is so subjective, and like I said, what people will pay for and what they won't pay for is really crazy. Like, really, that's what you want? You don't want it to actually be real, full-on 100% Parmesan. You want it cut with this cheaper cheese. All right, you're wanting to pay for it. I'll give it to you. And then sometimes people don't want to pay for anything. They don't pay at all. Or you get an assignment where you do it for something for charity, or like you said, school or whatever. You don't make a dime. And that's the worst. I hate that. Might be a little too much of my Scottishness in me. Okay. Let's see. Last couple little checks before we throw down a wash. We'll do those hooves. Hooves. Interesting word. Hoofs. It's a hoof, and then it's hooves. But most people say hoofs. But technically, it's supposed to be hooves. I have to look that up why it changed. It definitely did. We used to say it one way, now we say it another. There's lots of interesting words that are like that. Or, just changes over time, or colloquial isms, or whatever. I find that stuff very interesting. Alright, tighten up these black spots. And actually put some black spots over here. We totally didn't put any of them over here at all. There we go. Some of those might not even show up by the time we get it all done. Alright. I gotta clean this pigsty up. It's getting out of control. I don't know what that is. Something schmitzy. I'll have to make some more of this. It's almost out. There we go. Run, Rudolph. All the way out of there though, so we can clean out whatever. I think these are paint pieces that have just dried on the side walls, because as it loses liquid, it gets to where it starts drying. Oh, enamel paint. to try and work with an enamel paint that is older than I am on a rhino. Not a real rhino, resin cast. Okay, that'll be interesting. Enamels are I have one of my favorite paints is gold paints is an enamel paint, and so they have a very different way of working. It definitely takes a while for them. It takes a little longer for them to set up. A lot like an oil paint or something like that is. But what they leave, man, you might like the result. The result is way different, especially if you want it to look more like car paint, like a Hot Wheel, or like a car. Like if you were to go buy a car at the car lot kind of car. On a rhino, man, that might be like right on time on a rhino. It looked like it had been painted in the booth, you know. Assuming the paint's still good. If it's that old. Well, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but you know, paints get old. If it's older than 15, 20 years, it's probably in pretty bad shape. Maybe even shorter than that. Sometime, depending on how it was stored, 10 years tops. Nice and covered, and we're gonna pull some of that off of there. I love this super grime wash. It works so well on so many things. Some shadows real quick, and then when it dries, that smutsiness to it is something that's hard to replace. It makes it look dirty and old and grimy. Oh. Just use a little bit of a towel. So I usually have these little makeup sponges work out great with this, but you can also get yourself a little towel. Just kind of blot away any extra. Try to not do too much rubbing. You can easily. This can easily disturb the paint and make it rub clean off. So you're more trying to, and I've learned that from experience, you're more trying to dap that off there. And sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes you want to just leave it and let it pool. It just kind of depends. I'm going to give this guy a little bit more. Just take some of that off of the white. On the raised edges. Hey, it's Sir McBeardsly. Good to see you, sir. Good Friday to you, my friend. Be getting off work for the weekend. Everybody's working for the weekend. I got a nice look. Nice looking Minotaur. Nice, it's a nice looking Minotaur. Alright, we'll let that hang out for a second. And then I kind of do want to put a little bit of a brown color on there, especially for the horns. Oh, I made a big old mess over here with all this stuff trying to get my phone back together. Which I did manage to do, so, you know, I don't complain too much. Big old fat tube of raw umber. I use a lot of this Windsor Newton raw umber. It is one of the muddiest looking colors in the world. It looks like mud. If you want something to look like it's covered in mud, I point you to this. Like it literally looks like you're holding a piece of mud. Like that. Oh man. Happy birthday. Got a Friday birthday, so next year it's Saturday. That's fun. Get on there, Cap. Get on there. It's your home. Don't you want to go on your home? Participate. There we go. Man. What was I doing? Oh yeah. I was getting ready to do another wash. We gotta let it dry though. Oh golly. That's cool though, man. 7 days to your birthday, man. Fridays are good days to have birthdays. I like a Friday birthday myself. Way more brown than I really needed there. Feel light. Definitely trying to get it to come down here to the bottom of this horn. And we'll start some blending. Now these two things are gonna be kinda irritated about getting put together. They're one's kind of water and one's kind of a oil and mineral spirits. I'm just kind of trying to darken it up a little bit, brown it up before we bring the highlights down the horn. We'll give it some depth, some layers of color. Alright, so this is a little burnt sienna. So I'm going to kind of bring that down. The consistency of this paint is a little bit thinner anyway, so it kind of helps us kind of get a nice blend of colors here. One of the things about horns is they're a very different color than you think they are. And every horn you look at looks different when it was on the creature when it was alive versus when it was on the creature when it was dead. So like a dead, dried out horn looks very different than one that is growing on the creatures. Whatever creature that is, whether it's a deer or bull or sheep or whatever.
one of the things you want to do is really pay attention to nature and watch it. We lost a good one today. Totally the goldfish passed off. The one that played Golden Ring. Elden Ring, that's funny. Did some Elden Ring stuff back in the day on the channel. Back when we were working for Mr. Gold. Big shout out to Mike. If you still check out the channel from time to time. I don't expect that he does, but you never know. Don't forget your light sources, which way your light's going to be coming down. Some nice looking horns. Now, a lot of times they'll do like a tip. A lot of times you want a tip on the horn. You can do that with like a, I don't know, like a Payne's gray, or kind of a gray color if you wanted that kind of look on there. You probably want to wait, let it dry a little bit first before we do that. Get these gems done. Make sure we clean that up first, nice and white. Now what are we thinking? What are we thinking? Red? Crazy how they set that up. This is the goldfish that played Elden Ring. Had a camera and motion sensors set up around this goldfish tank. They put a grid all over it according to how the fish swam. Input commands into the game. This is just technology I can get behind. Just give you some. So basically, they just let him wander. They let as the fish wandered around, it put inputs into the controller. That's pretty wild. I had vaguely heard of it happening, but I didn't really I wasn't paying that much attention to it. I'm just, when you have 4 kids, man, you have so many other things you pay attention to. Okay. So, what are we thinking? Red. Come on, hey. Right here, camera. There you go. All right. It doesn't take a whole lot of this stuff. This is an Indian ink. The reason I want to use that is it will, when it dries, it'll have a little bit of a shiny, like we were talking about with these. We're going to have a little bit of a shine to it. what the white underneath it is. And this stuff's going to find the corners. As long as you help it around a little bit. And can kind of help gemstone out. And it'll stay wet and shiny looking for it dries shiny because it's an ink, so it's kind of got a shine to it. So definitely a red one. What do you think of that green one? Yeah, they beat Melania and Radon. That's funny. Of course. Crazy hard game, and they taught a goldfish to beat it just to prove to y'all how ridiculous that is. We do two green. Green. Yeah, kind of like that. Alright, here we go. Put in that nose ring. Come back, try to pull his teeth out. Not like that. We're gonna like paint his teeth in. Not gonna like yank him out. Just a little bit of burnt sienna there, kind of dull down some of that a little bit. That's that burnt sienna again. Just want to bring a little bit of that color back up on here. It's just right. There we go. All right. So I'm doing good. Get back on the camera pad. Just barely hitting all the highlights on that column. Pull out that sienna again. If I had plans for the weekend for me, no. I mean, I'm not really. Be sitting around here painting some stuff. Oh, we got that Hero Quest game. We're gonna probably play some Hero Quest, which is cool. Oh, stick my finger around the paint. So we're probably gonna do a little bit of goofing off with that, which will be fun. You know, hanging out with the kids. We'll see. I don't get into a whole lot right now because, you know, while I'm kind of down and sick, I'm kind of trying not to spend a lot of money. So we don't do too much, but we have a good time around here. He's aight. Okay, so I think we go blue here. And maybe another band of the bronze. Right there. And that kind of keeps in with that. What we're looking at where the other ones where they had them painted. There you go. A little Secret Santa work. I don't know that. Get it done and out of the way while no one's looking. As it should be done. Oop. That's right, we will come back and fix that overpaint. little color though. That's nice. Kind of trying to bring out what you would see the lights bouncing off of, what would be, and how far would that dirt really be? Some of this is a schmutz effect from that wash. Some of that gives us shadows, but some of it also gives us that look of dirt, schmutzy of age, grimdark, whatever you want to call that. So the question comes down to how far down onto the crevices do we want that to go? And that's up to everybody's gonna have their own different kind of interpretations on what that looks like. Some people want it to look really clean. Some people like things to look a little bit more dirty. It just really depends. And that's what's so cool about miniature painting is you get to decide because it's yours if you're painting. And if you're buying it, shoot, there's so many miniature painters out there, you can probably find anything you want. And of course, you can do a lot of this work in airbrush if you wanted. Oh man, okay. Well, oh man, 50 minutes in. There we go. I'm gonna check out that Oracle place again, see if there's any interesting thingos. There you go. Nice, nice. Yeah, let me know how that goes. So we're 50 minutes in. Okay, well, I'm gonna let this stuff finish drying up. I don't know if there's too much more we're gonna do messing around with it. Might paint these tiles down here. But other than that, it's in pretty good shape. Bringing that burnt sienna. It's a nice terracotta color. Keeps our palette pretty simple as well. This dry and we'll add a little bit of a brown wash to that. Get a little bit of that raw umber to get all that come out. And we'll also probably distress these pillars down here some more. We want to make these ones that are up here with him nice and white. Clean, cleaner. his weapons or whatever. So you'd think he would do at least some maintenance to them. Or maybe he just ripped this off of part of where he, part of the arena. And he's getting ready to come swinging at somebody. Or maze, I suppose. It could be a maze. It's a Minotaur after all. And that's where they started out. That's where the whole thing starts from. The story of King Minos and his maze. Is that right? If I got that right? Check these nails underneath. Put a little, they're really showing, are they? Leave those alone. These I am gonna give just a little bit of just a pop of Naples yellow on the top. Now that sienna's dried. Again, we don't want to put white on there, so we don't want it to match the column. So we're doing the yellow. Very natural kind of yellow. To differentiate. It's a good looking bull, yeah? Dry. Alright, almost there. A little bit of more of a keep distressing these other ones down. So add that raw umber there. Really helps them look more old and more, like I said, they've been sitting on the floor of the arena for a while versus the ones he's got, he's working with or whatever. Give them a little bit more of a dirty look. It's also gonna something we can just add to the floor as it pours down off of our brush. We can easily just let that go and kind of keep working that tile color in. We got a lot of heavy lifting being done by our zenithal highlight on that, which is, this is why we put it down there. Right there, that little bit, and get retweak that. A little bit heavier. There we go. Alrighty. Minotaur for you. Heck yeah, lots of fun. Alright, well, I'll tell you what, kiddos, if you like what you see, give us a like and a subscribe. Always could use that stuff. Helps with the algorithm. Thanks for all the chit-chat, Sir McBeardsly and Fat Man Kitchen. Really appreciate you guys jumping in and saying hello. It helps my endorphins or whatever that chemical is that makes you feel happy. It's not endorphins, what is it? Anyway. It's good stuff. I appreciate it. I do. It also helps with, our Lord and Savior, Lord Algo. May he well be praised. And bestow upon me the, the button. Well, let's see what else I got. I don't think I have anything else. That's about it. I do have to go to a science fair show, so good luck to my kid I had. There you go. Yeah, definitely go enjoy it. So yeah, I've got to go. Gotta go do my daughter's in her science fairs today, so we're gonna go check that out. So we're gonna leave from here and go do that. Maybe not directly, but so hopefully she does well. That'd be fun. She did. She worked really hard, so I'm sure she's gonna do great. And she had fun with the project. So and she liked the messing around with it. I guess I don't know how to explain that. Anyway, you guys are awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Be good to yourselves. Be good to other people. Be good to people you don't know. We need to spread that around. Goodness is the way to go. Promise you. We'll talk to y'all later.